Stone Soup,
the classic folk tale told by members of the Heber 6th ward.
Once upon a time, there was a poor village in a land at war.
People jealously hoarded their food, hiding it from their friends and neighbors.
One day, there came into a small village a company of weary soldiers.
They began asking questions like if they were planning on staying for the night.
There's not a bite to eat in all the land, they were told, so they better keep moving on.
Tired and hungry, the soldiers camped in the village near the town square.
The villagers trembled, for they had no food to share with these men.
And they were afraid they might cause trouble.
Soon the band of men uncovered a gigantic pot and began to build a fire for it.
trudging back and forth to the town well, they filled the pot with water.
They then set the pot in the now crackling fire.
With great ceremony, they drew an ordinary-looking stone from a velvet bag.
An old woman appeared behind the shutter.
Noticed that they had dropped the round stone into the pot.
Unable to contain her curiosity,
She ventured into the open to approach the cluster of men.
After
Looking into the
pot
she asked, "What
on
earth are you
cooking
in there?"
The soldiers looked up and replied,
"Stone soup, my good woman, a delicious dish."
By now, hearing the rumor of food,
Most of the villagers had come to the square.
Or watch from the windows.
As the soldier sniffed the broth and licked his lips in anticipation, hunger began to overcome their skepticism.
This would be so much better
if we were to have an onion or two to drop in.
Yes, stone soup with onions. Now that's hard to beat.
yes, stone soup with onions. Now that's hard to beat.
I am but a poor peasant and have hardly enough to eat for myself,
She answered.
But perhaps there is a sad onion or two on her kitchen shelf, she declared.
I will bring them here for your soup.
If you will share a bowl.
Of your fine soup with me.
They consented, and she disappeared hungry with anticipation at the meal.
She returned hesitantly,
She returned hesitantly,
holding the onion she had retrieved from her hiding place,
holding the onion she had retrieved from its hiding place,
and added it to the pot.
and added it to the pot.
An old man approached, and after looking into the pot, he called out,
What on earth are you cooking here?
"Stone soup, my good man."
And right good it is, they answered.
But how much better it would be if we only had a simple carrot to add.
Yes, I once had stone soup with carrot, and it was fit for a king.
Cried the soldier.
The poor man shook his head and replied,
I am starving peasant.
But perhaps
My good wife
"Has my carrots."
For my last bit of food, I would share with you if you would share a bowl of your fine soup with me and that good woman.
The soldiers nodded appreciatively and awaited the return of the old man, his wife, and the carrots.
After a while, they did return.
and added their meager offering to the pot.
Then they all sat down and waited till a young woman approached with a basket of herbs.
She entered from the meadow and joined the group around the bubbling pot.
She too was persuaded to add her share.
And she too waited.
One by one, the hungry peasants of the village came out to see what all the excitement was about.
And one by one they added a few potatoes, a handful of beans, a small green cabbage, and mushrooms.
There soon appeared in their midst the town butcher,
Who had soon since closed his door.
Huffing and puffing and mopping his brow with a large red handkerchief, he called out, "What is all this commotion?"
What on earth smells so wonderfully good?
Here in this poor village which has nothing to eat.
Stone soup, sir, said the soldier, a creation fit for a king.
All that is lacking to pronounce it truly fit is some meat.
Oohs and ahs were heard throughout the crowd of hungry peasants.
Butcher quietly disappeared, leaving the crowds to wait and wonder.
He returned clutching his very last chicken.
He dropped it.
With the applause from the crowd, into the pot,
which now sent a heavenly aroma through the crowd.
There was indeed
a delicious meal,
fit for a king,
to be enjoyed by all that night.
The villagers offered the soldiers a great deal of money for the magic stone,
but they were refused.
The next morning, when the town awoke,
the soldiers had packed up their pot and left the village.
The only thing they left behind was the stone.
Donated to the village as a small thank you.
The moral of the story is
that by working together with everyone contributing what they can, a greater good is achieved.
Is the story of Stone Soup. The end.